shame on me. You know
Yeah,
what?
but
I should stick to drinking my tea right now.
well, good morning, Paige.
Jim, good morning.
So it has been a while, as you can see. So we haven't recorded in like 3 weeks because
I know.
it turns out like when you're a kid and your parents say you should wear sunscreen and
Yeah.
and then you don't because you're an idiot. Well,
Yeah.
I grew up here in San Diego where, you spent almost every day at the beach. And if I wasn't at the beach, I was in our pool. And the sun got me. So as you can see right now, I'm still pretty. They had to hack on me from here almost down to my lip and took out a bunch of stuff. So it's coming back together now. But it was I'm gonna have a little mark for a while apparently. But I'm all good. They got it all. So I'm back on the mend. But yeah. So we weren't able to be doing this for a few weeks. So
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're okay.
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where if you grow up in San Diego, I guess, the public service announcement, wear sunscreen.
Yes.
It's one of those things where you just, I don't know, when I just assumed it's not going to happen to me. I mean, why would
Hmm.
it happen to me? So, but yeah, it did. So there you go. So anyway, people don't care about this. Let's talk about something fun.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a scam that's gone on for a while, but I just read about one yesterday and it was just depressing. But before we talk about that, as of right now, if you have not updated Google Chrome in the last, I don't know, less than 24 hours, you are crazy vulnerable. There is a new 0 day actively being exploited. Today we're recording this, it's Friday, and it's bad. It's because it's actively being exploited, which means if you're one of those people that goes, oh, I choose when I want to update my Google Chrome, I don't let it update automatically, click the update button like immediately
Yeah.
because it's a bad one and there are criminals out there going after it. They did just get a patch pushed out, but you need to make sure you're updated on that. So just a little extra warning there. But the thing I want to talk about today, and it's just mean, and it's puppy scams, and it's these fake puppy sales. And I know this sounds so like goofy, but I've had friends that have been scammed by it, and more, and just recently now I read this latest one, and they're just heartbreaking. So here's how this scam works, and you got to have a certain place in hell for this one. So people set up Facebook groups that are designed for puppies for different things. And this particular story that I was reading about, this was an Australian Shepherd puppy
Okay.
group. And the particular group had over 1,000 people that had joined this group. But the person who was hosting the group was a criminal. And it's still being hosted right now. And so the way it works is you join the group because you're looking to get this type of dog. In this particular case, this lady that posted it was looking for a dog. And she posted that the dog that she was looking for was an Australian Shepherd. So on the group, she posted a thing saying, hey, I'm looking for a puppy, blah, blah, blah. And the moderator of the group messaged her and said, hey, we have a blue merle, which is the type of Australian Shepherd. In fact,
Mhm.
we have a blue merle at my house right now. And it's a puppy. And so, of course, they then say, okay, well, how much are you looking for? And I think they said like 500, $600, somewhere around there. And they're like, okay, great. We're very interested. And they're like, perfect. So they said, well, what we're going to have you do is if you really want this dog, you need to give us a down payment because we don't know you. You're not part of our group. And so if you give us $400 down payment, that way we keep the dog. Now, keep in mind, the dog's still a puppy. So it's going to take a little bit of time before we can ship it to you. And they're like, okay, great. So they stay in touch, they keep talking, and they have these correspondence going. They ask what kind of food the dog wants and all these other things. They're really trying to get to know this dog. They get all these pictures. Everybody's so excited. Then they say, oh, for shipping, there's going to be a $200 additional fee. Now, originally they thought that fee was going to be part of the total price, but they go, oh, that was just a misunderstanding. It's $200 additional dollars for the shipping. And they go, okay, great. So they send the original $400 as the down payment, and now they send an additional $200. And they're doing this via Zelle or Venmo or one of those move money type options. So that money's sent. So now it gets a little bit closer to time and they go, okay, great. We're going to be handing the dog off to this shipping company. We work with them all the time. They're such a great company. They're so loving and caring with the dog. So we'll be handing off to them. You should be getting contacted by them very soon. So they're delivering on the date that you want. And they go, oh, great. They're all excited. So next thing you know, the shipping company reaches out, confirms everything, says we're ready to ship, blah, blah, blah. However, one of the things that we need to do is we need to crate the dog. And in order to do that, you have two options. You can either rent a crate from us or you can buy a crate from us. If you rent the crate, it's like 50 or $100, something relatively inexpensive. However, you do need to put a deposit on the crate because unfortunately people sometimes have stolen our crates. So we need to make sure we get them back because they're expensive. If you'd like to buy the crate, that's fine, but that's like $2,500. And so they go, okay, so how much is the little deposit? And they're like, oh, it's like $1,500. And they're like, okay, well, let's do that. So they go, okay, great. So they give them a number or an ID for them to Venmo or Zelle to. So now they send an additional $1,500 off to these people. So now they're in it for the initial $400 down payment, plus the $200 shipping, plus another $1,500 for this crate, plus another $100 for the rental fee. So it's adding up now. They're over $2,000 into this. And then at that point in time, the company reaches out and says, okay, we're going to be shipping it on this date. It's going to be all great. And then just before they ship it, they reach out and go, oh, there's a problem. Something's come up. There's some additional fee. And finally, these people realize, oh my gosh, we're being scammed. And they're like, what do we do? And so they reached out to a friend of theirs and they said, hey, reach out and ask about this dog and see if it's for sale. And sure enough, the people responded back, said, oh yeah, we have the dog, sent the same pictures, started the same story. And they realized they were victims of this scam.
You know what's challenging about this is just the average recommendations that we're giving out, they evolve over time. So like, phishing emails back in the day, it'd be like, hover over the link and look for bad grammar, or they'll be really vague. Well, now with AI, it's like, no, those aren't the recommendations anymore. Same thing with this. The checks and balances, it's like, there's a lot of people in the group. You check. It makes sense as far as getting a deposit, like all these things, check. Well, no, that's not true anymore. How are people supposed to keep up with like these new scams and the new ways that are happening when it seems so legitimate?
Yeah. And people sometimes think like, oh, well, if I give them the money and it turns out scam, I'll get the money back. And you go, well, how? Like nowadays, when you use Zelle or any of those, that money's gone. And they'll like go like, well, can't the bank trace it back? And you go, no. I mean, once in a great while, you might get really, really lucky, but that's hugely the exception to the rule.
Right. No, and a lot of these payment, you're pressing a button that says, I know, are you sure this is Jim? And you say, yes, it is. And then you send them the money. So you've already done their step as far as verification that you're sending to legit person. And so when you say later that, oh, it's fraud, that's not how that works. So yeah, you're out money. And for somebody, what do you say, $1,500, $2,000 that these people are out, that's a lot of money that they will never recoup. Yeah. I still feel so bad because, getting a dog is such just a happy time in somebody's life. And so you also have that where you might not see all the red flags because the end goal is to get this puppy, and you see the pictures and you see the communication with the quote unquote breeder or owner, and you just all make sense. So yeah, it's frustrating for people, especially when you're not in the security space. I mean, this is a topic I'm very passionate about, is like, we have to, if you're not in the security space, I mean, we're talking about security stuff all the time. We have our Google alerts, we're reading articles, we're in this space all the time. And this stuff is top of mind to us. But look, if you're talking about somebody that, has a 15-minute break and they need to, check their email, or their, that's all they have in their day to be online and communicate with somebody, do you think their top priority is like, oh, let me double check okay, this has the amount of groups, and let me just double check all these things? It's so hard to keep up.
Well, and nobody's, you're not thinking I'm being scammed. You're thinking I'm
No.
getting a dog for my kids. Like you're in a happy place. You're not in a dark place, and you don't. Yeah, you just that's just not something that's going to cross your mind. Even though sadly now it has to.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just it's disappointing that it's
Yeah,
like crossed the threshold of these, but it's the reality though. It's the reality that we live in. So just taking those extra steps, taking a step back, sounds too good to be true. Always is. Those sort of things come into play all the time for transactions.
that's exactly it. Well,
Yeah.
good talking to you, Paige.
Yeah. Great talking to you too. Bye.
Bye. Hey everyone, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you have any questions, go ahead and just fill them out in the comments. I read every comment that's posted, and I'll be happy to either make a video answering your questions, or I might just message you directly to get you the information you need. Have a great day.